welcoming Sister Berhan.
Thank you for having me. You don't know, babe, when you hold me and kiss me slowly, it's the sweetest thing. And it don't change if I had it my way. You would know that you're the coffee that I need in the morning. You're the sunshine in the rain when it's pouring. Give it all to me, give it all. I just wanna see, I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're stuck when you go far.
Thank you, Eleanor, for that incredible performance. Absolutely inspiring. Woo! Yeah, now, as we've all been hearing tonight, while P2p has reaffirmed its commitment to the orphan sponsorship program, it's also turning its attention to youth mental health. Now, P2p is currently engaged with community partners to develop a youth mentorship and mental health awareness and education campaign, something that is very important. Now, tonight we'll be hearing from Mr. Berhan, the Executive Director of Taibu Community Health Center in Toronto. Now, as the first, yes, another clap. Now, as the first Executive Director of Taibu, Livin has led the organization for the past 15 years. Today, Taibu has strong community roots and has become a recognizable agency that's committed to addressing the impact of anti-Black racism on the health and well-being of the Black community. In 2022, he was recognized for the work that he's done and accomplished in the community, particularly when it comes to COVID-19 pandemic, and the street Livin Way was named after him in the Malvern neighborhood of Scarborough. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Mr. Livin to the podium.
A speaker has always a problem when they are before food, or if they have to follow some very difficult acts. We have 3 acts: the speech of the president, the keynote speaker, and some great music. So I don't know how I'm going to fare after these 3 great acts, but I'm very honored and humbled to be among you. Thank you for P2p for inviting me to share a few words. It's also a recognition that we are in February, so it's Black History Month. So we're talking about Black excellence, all the videos that we've seen, all the work that is happening back home, and I think the plan that is being formed now with P2p is about Black excellence. The theme of the gala is a better tomorrow for all. And as I was thinking about this, and Madam President has been saying quite a number of times that we're still in some very difficult times. We're just coming out of that difficult time, but we've just been in some very, very difficult times, particularly for communities such as the Ethiopian and Eritrean communities. Mental health, chronic disease, the opioid crisis, things that we were not talking or thinking about in our communities are happening now. Criminal justice, all the kind of negative impact that has come on our communities. And so it might feel a bit overwhelming to say, how are we going to create a better tomorrow for all? Because nothing looks hopeful and nothing seems positive. But that's what non-profit organizations do, right? If we study the history of non-profit organizations, they were created to fill a gap that either the government or corporations could not fill. And so we have an organizations like P2p that can fill this gap. So I think that is a very positive and hopeful moment for us. So, you know, and that's also where I work, and these are the things that we address. So we're very, very happy to be partnering with P2p. So as I was thinking about this, I said maybe there are 3 themes that I would like to share, both for the board of P2p and the leadership there, but also for us, because we are also P2p, we are members of the organization. And these are some principles that we use in our organization when we are dealing with issues in the community. And the first one is the principle of Sankofa. The principle of Sankofa means that we go back to the past and bring what is strong, helpful wisdom that will help us to move into the future. And I think 20 years ago, P2p was in a similar situation, looking at what was happening in the community and saying, back home, and now here, we have to do something. So I think P2p has a very strong history, 23 years, so much money raised, so many young people's lives changed, and in difficult times as well. So I think we are good there. I think if we use the principle of Sankofa, I think P2p is a strong organization to help us move into the future. The second theme that I was thinking, and these are African values and principles, because we were talking about Proverbs earlier on. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The second principle that I've been thinking about is the principle from the Kwanzaa principle, which is Kumba. Kumba means it's creativity. It's defined as creativity in English. And the principle is about leaving something better than we have received for the next generation. And I think this is what P2p is doing, is leaving a better tomorrow for the younger generation. And I think that's another theme that I would like us to remember and to keep. And the third one is a South African principle. It's called Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am because we are. There's no individuality in the African tradition. There is no me. There's only we, right? And if I'm not okay, you cannot be okay. If you're not okay, then I cannot be okay. So that's the principle of Ubuntu. I am because we all are, or I am who I am because we all are. And I think these 3 principles coming together, I think, would be something that would lead us into the better tomorrow for all. The Sankofa is our foundation. The Kumba is our purpose or our vision of leaving something better for the next generation. And I think the Ubuntu is the strategy of how we are going to do it. I heard the President stress or emphasize the word together. And I think coming here today is a good opportunity to strengthen that coming together, the spirit of Ubuntu, that we cannot be well if one part of ourselves is not well. And so I would like to encourage all of us to use these principles in order to move forward, to support P2p moving into the next phase, particularly as they are developing this crisis that we are, we may not have noticed it, but there is a crisis looming about to explode around mental health and young people in our communities, including Ethiopian, Eritrean, and Black communities. We are bracing, at least at Taiwan, we are bracing for such things. So I think that the vision is very timely for P2p. We are here to support them. both as individuals but also as organizations. And the other thing that also I would like to share here, and we've been talking about this, and my elder and brother Emmanuel always talks about this, is about creating, I think if we want to create a better tomorrow for all, we also have to create an ecosystem that would help us to come together, to connect the dots. There are talents, there are organizations, there are people. We all have to come together in order to build a better tomorrow for all. It is possible. P2p has done it for 23 years. Taibu is a little younger than P2p. We've been doing it for 15 years. And I think we can continue to do this. And I really want to encourage all of us to continue to support P2p in order to bring this better tomorrow for all, for us and for the next generation. Thank you.
That educational and inspiring address. Now, we all know that community health and empowerment can never succeed without active investigation, involvement, and of course, cascading generations all working together with young people and old to get everyone on board and on the same page. Now, while there are many community leaders who tirelessly work to empower our youth, there is, of course, one woman who shines supremely in that space. And that woman is Agabi Gesese, who is an award-winning, powerful, influential, and fearless change maker. In 2020, she was named amongst the top Black women to watch in Canada. She's also the executive director of the CEE Center for Young Black Professionals and the founder of the consulting and strategy group as well. Now, for over a decade, Agabi has worked to engage the lives of marginalized youth through her work with the Toronto Community Housing United Way of Greater Toronto, and as the executive director of POV, an organization focused on breaking barriers for young people in the media and film industry. Now, Agabi has also captivated audiences on local and international stages, has been featured and invited onto many streets and commentatings on media outlets such as CTV National News, BNN, Bay Street Bull, Breakfast Television, and so much more. She speaks and writes on topics such as anti-Black racism, government relations, JEDI, workforce development, and of course, youth engagement. Her roles and mandates focus on social impact, and her career levels a trail of talented, brilliant lines to show for leadership wherever she goes. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the incomparable Agabi to the stage.
Hi everyone, good evening. I want to just thank P2p for the amazing work that they're doing and also for inviting me to speak here. My bio makes me sound really great, so I hope I live up to it. I am a daughter of refugee parents who came to this country in '88, which was the year I was born. And I was raised by my single mother. Over time that happened. And one of the things that she did when we were younger is she loved extracurricular activities. There's not a thing I don't know how to do, I promise you, okay? I played tennis, I swam, I played the piano, and I also did ballet and gymnastics, and like the list goes on and on. But there was never an extracurricular that I did not do. And I understood that very young. I have an older brother and sister. My sister's in the audience, so if there's one thing I can't do, there's definitely nothing she can't do. Because my older brother and sister were very natural at everything, at sports, at school. I don't know if any of the young people in the room went to Kumon, but I also went to Kumon. And so all of those things, I wasn't good. You know, like, you know when your siblings are better than you at everything, and it's so obvious because you're just like not that great. And so my mother would be very hard on me because I really feel like her aspirations and thoughts for me were she had very high expectations. So she would come with me to my group piano classes, okay? And she'd bring this like big tape recorder. You know, like back in the day when you put a tape in and press record? Yes, she brought that, okay? And she would press record, and for the whole hour class, after class, I would have a debrief class where I'd have to listen to it for an hour, and she'd be like, remember, did you hear that? Did you hear you were off key? She did not know how to play the piano, by the way. And so there was just like this amount of pressure all the time because my sister, on the other hand, would just like play by her ear. Like, I didn't even know how to read notes, if I'm being real. But she would just like play like it was Mozart, and my mother would watch these like, you know, these young children on videos and be like, look, they play so well, and they're playing in China and all of these places. I really felt like my mother was just like, I want you guys to be a protege. However it happens, it doesn't matter. And I really started to understand as I was reflecting, and I was talking with my sister, we used to go to ballet, and my sister would go first, and then I would go second, and I would go into the class, and I just didn't, it wasn't even that I wasn't good, I just didn't try, because I didn't like it. Like, all of the kids would like run around back to back with their tutus, and my mom would send my sister in, because I used to suck my thumb as a child, like whatever. And I used to literally take my shoes off, throw it in the middle of the ballet studio, and suck my thumb, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to live my life the way I wanted to live it. And my sister would have to come in and be like, can you please try? And I'd be like, no, I'm good. I think I'm just gonna stay right here. I say all of that to say that at the time, it didn't feel good. And I grew up a lot of the time thinking, wow, my brother and my sister are so good at all of these things, and I'm not good at any of these things. And at school, I had to try harder. And the reality of the situation was, my mother had high hopes for me. She wanted me to be great. She left Ethiopia for the political reasons and came to this country because she wanted a better life. And for most part, I think she really thought, well, I think I'm going to sacrifice the time that I've had, and I'm going to instill it in my girls and my older brother and my children. I'm going to make sure that they can be all that they can be. Reflecting now, I don't know how she did it as a single mother and the amount of things that we did, but there was something inside of her that just had so much hope for what we would be, you know? And I think as I reflect on that, I also think about the fact that we all can't be children proteges, right? I didn't end up being one, by the way. But what I did do is start to think about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to see myself. And I think that as we reflect on the state of our people in this country, and we are Black, I don't know if any of you Habesham people got that memo, but we're Black. And the reality is, you know, I remember growing up, my mother would be like, oh, but we're Habesha. And like, nobody's going down the street being like, oh, look at that Habesha girl crossing the street. No, they're like, look at that Black person. God forbid even my older brother who, you know, experienced a lot. And so we have to, number one, acknowledge that and understand that statistics are telling us that the longer we're staying in this country, the worse off we're becoming. You need to really think about that. We're coming, our parents, or yourselves, whomever, are coming here for a better life. But the longer that we're staying, we're doing worse off than we were maybe even back home. And so the reality is we need to start to think about what does that mean? And how are we going to be able to change the tide? And I will say, for young folks, I really think that you need to look around the room and you need to be able to find out what your passion is. Your passion, your purpose, and be able to figure out your own way. Not where your parents only want you to be, right? Because Habesha folks, we know. We get it. Not all of us can go to med school. You know what I mean? So I think that as young people, you also have to understand that there are going to be opportunities that maybe the folks around you don't necessarily see. But find out what you're good at. Find out what your purpose is. Purpose, passion, those things can collide. We're living in an economy where you can do whatever you would like. Literally, you can do whatever you would like. If you want to sit down, you can make money doing that. If you want to stand up, you can do that. If you want to play sports, whatever it is, you need to be able to find what that is. And to the parents in the room, allow your children to explore where they see fit. The reality of the situation, allow your children to explore what they would like to do, because you're going to put all of your energy and all of well-intentioned, but you also don't know what you don't know. And there might be things that your children are able to shed light on, and they know themselves best. Trust me, I knew myself best. I was not going to become a ballerina. So allow your children the space and the time and the ability to be able to discover themselves and explore things and cultivate that. And for the young people in the room, you are needed. You're not just needed here in this country to make your situation better for your generation and the generations that are going to come behind you, but as someone from the diaspora, back home needs you just as much. And your ability to figure out yourself in this world and cultivate that, and also understand that your small contribution actually will triple and be a trickle effect out, not just in this country, but also back home. And so it really is dependent. Our ability to thrive in this country and elsewhere is dependent on your ability to find out where you see yourself and where you fit, which means your parents have to help you out with that. I don't think that my mother unfortunately has passed away, but I don't think that she would have imagined that I would have done this with my life. And I think part of that has also been exposure. I always say to Emmanuel, who's in the room, I walked into a room at United Way and didn't know what I was going to do, and I saw he looked very well to do. If you see him today, everyone, you can see he's very well to do. He looks great, well fed. And so I thought to myself, oh, and because he was a Habesha man, I thought, oh, wow, maybe this is something that I can do. So for the young people in the room, connect, see, we're in a new age. Go on LinkedIn, look up whatever it is that you want to become. Go and look that up and ask somebody to have a coffee, a conversation. You need to be able to explore, because it wasn't until I saw somebody who looked like me that was doing something that I never thought would be a possibility of a career, for me to say, oh, well, maybe I can too. And that also means that parents, don't discourage your children from exploring those opportunities. Don't say, I can't tell you how many times my mother, like I said, had the best of intentions, but I can't tell you how many times I was like, well, I want to help people. And she's like, you're not going to make any money doing that. Don't do that. And let's do that after work, right? And so you unintentionally can stifle your children's ability to be as great as they can possibly be. And so I'll say this, neither of us could have imagined it, but impact always starts with purpose. And your ability to find your purpose is going to impact the ability for a better tomorrow for everyone. It's not only about you, it's about everyone, which is exactly the theme of this evening. So I thank you all for listening, and I hope that you could take the small bit of knowledge I've tried to share with all of you, and I hope I lived up to my bio. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that inspiring message, an important one for parents and children alike to help start and help with our communities. Now, as you heard from Mesrak a little earlier in our performance today, P2p has reaffirmed its commitment that was the support of the community. It'll continue to work hard to give a brighter future to as many more orphans and vulnerable children as its resources can reach. But of course, that's only with your help. Now, to that end, we've actually placed a lantern with a candle and a small switch on the side in the center of everyone's students. Looks a little something like this. Now, each candle represents the hopes and aspirations of one child. An orphaned or vulnerable child who tonight, as we celebrate P2p's 23rd anniversary, is not receiving the kind of help and support, the life-sustaining support, I should mention, that the other children under our care receive, and faces a dire future. Now, at the end of the night, I hope that one person at each table will light the hope of a child by turning on that candle. It'll be a symbol of their commitment to sponsoring one orphan child for just $1 a day. Now you too can help us by turning on every candle in the room so that at the end of tonight, together, we can give hope to at least 25 more children whose lives will begin to change this very night. Now, if you do end up turning on this lantern and helping that child, our ushers will be look out for those lighted candles on your table and will come over to help provide more information on how exactly you can help sponsor a child and how your donation will make a world of a difference. Thank you all so much. Now at this time, we're going to be taking a short little break for coffee and dessert, which will be brought to your table by our servers. You can stay seated for this one. I want to urge you to not forget that during this time, we'll still be selling raffle tickets that you can buy to help win the business class ticket, round trip of course, courtesy of Ethiopian Airlines, again, to any Ethiopian Airlines destination of your choice. And of course, all the other exciting prizes we have for offer today. The odds are in your favor. Please also check out our silent auction at the back of the hall as well. You can bid and win a round-trip Ethiopian Airlines economy class ticket as well, so 2 chances for that, and to any destination on the ET route. You can also bid on a rare painting, artwork, and other items on display. And while we take the time to do this, the Daniel Barnes Jazz Quartet will come back up on stage to help entertain you. Thank you.
I'm usually a very honest guy, but to keep me even more honest, we're going to get these young people to do the raffle draw. So there's no funny business here. Come closer, come closer. You already shake it? You shook it really hard? You sure? Okay. All right. The #1 prize, raffle prize, is a business class, an Ethiopian Airlines business class ticket to any destination in the world where Ethiopian Airlines flies. And you know what? Those guys fly to 180 destinations. So it's a business class ticket worth between $5,000 and $6,000. And the winning number is held by Almaz Merit. Almaz, can you please stand and show hands so that our audience can read the prize to you? All right, thank you. And the second raffle draw. And the second raffle prize is the newest generation of an Apple Watch, worth over $590. And the winner is Menelik again. Okay, check it well. I don't want to get in trouble with anybody. The third raffle prize, an AirPod Pro worth over $395, and the winner is Samhan Zarat. Is Samhan around here somewhere? Oh, there you are. Okay, okay. So the ushers will bring your prize to you shortly. Thank you. The second last prize, raffle prize, is a dinner for 2 with wine at Blue Nile Restaurant, as Eden was saying, right on time for Valentine's Day. And the winner is Kadia Patricia. Are you there somewhere? Kadia Patricia? Okay. And the last The last raffle prize. Is another dinner for two at the famous Rendezvous restaurant, and the winner is Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you on behalf of P2P, on behalf of the kids that we support, on behalf of the community that we serve, on behalf of all our special guests. I want to especially thank Liban, Agapi, and of course, the one and only Sister Tawaba. Please give her a hand one more time. Sister Tawaba is an international global hero. For 45 years, for over 45 years, she has completely transformed the lives of thousands, literally thousands of children. Sister Tawaba, you stand so tall. You stand so tall. We thank you. The last person I want to thank for this amazing evening is none other than our own Eden Debebe from CP24. All right. Just imagine if it was me standing here instead of her the whole night. All right, the night is still young, the bar is open. The dance floor will now open in a couple of minutes. Our DJ, many of you, known to many of you, Ephraim. I can see some people are on edge here to judge. I can't wait to get down here. So thank you all very much. Thank you. Well, it looks like somebody just reminded me you're not off the hook yet. There is a very special announcement. It will take it will not take a long time. Mimi, are you ready? Okay. A very special announcement, and then, you dance away the rest of the evening. Thank you.
All right. Today there's a reason to celebrate. With great excitement, I'm really excited. I announced that the global superstar Abir Tesfaye The Weeknd, who recently received the Canadian Music 2022 Alan Slade Humanitarian Spirit Award for his long-standing commitment and dedication to charity initiative, has selected P2P to receive $50,000 that he won for this award. Our heartfelt congratulations to Adam for his well-deserved recognition, and we are deeply grateful for choosing P2P. I just want to remind you all why we serve P2P, why we come here. It's a reflection. If The Weeknd is actually donating to the P2P, it's because we're making a big difference. So clap your hands to yourself. If I ever meet Abin, because I knew him when he was little, I want to say this. Abin, as much as you shine on the global stage with your music, you shine even brighter for your big heart and dedication to making a difference in the lives of the less fortunate. Our sincere gratitude also goes out to the Alan Slade Foundation for the generosity and their support. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.